It says it's preparing, but here we go. Oh yeah. Hold on. Okay, so I just made it so you could record. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live Q&A. And with me, I'm Tracy Mahan, and with me is Judy Cocu. If you haven't been here before, we are here to do some live Q&A with Arcturian Daniel. I'll go into the channel and Judy will ask the questions. There was a post that I did earlier in the week that asked you to put your questions down. So I do apologize. We are not doing live questions, mainly because Judy doesn't have a way to read two. She doesn't have both. She's either going to have me or she's going to have you guys. So she needs me. And hello, Sarah B. She has already joined us. So she's saying hi. And Drusilla, we got a couple of people coming in here. So that's going to be great. We're going to start our live here pretty soon. So Judy, we were talking about just how all this energy is kind of making us sleepy. We're tired.
It's certainly having an impact.
I was like, is it a full moon? Because I kind of haven't been keeping track. And it wasn't a full moon last night, but I couldn't sleep last night. Yeah,
it's pretty close, I think, to
close.
full moon.
It is getting close, but I was kind of a toss and turning last night. So you know, I love you guys as YouTube names. Of course, Dragon Lady, woo, and Dave likes cats, yay. And yeah, I love these names. So come on in. We've got some questions lined up, and some of these questions are really universal, so it's good because it's got something for everybody in there.
The fascinating thing about Daniel's answers to a lot of the questions is that it goes so much broader and it encompasses other questions that we may not actually get to later on. So there's even if the questions aren't being read out, the chances are they are going to be answered in the broader context of another question. So it's quite fascinating the way that all works.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we are on a little different time frame tonight than we usually are. So we're gonna probably talk less and get going on this. At the moment, I don't think there's any announcements to be made. No classes and no groups. Oh, I am running a 50% off of my online store though. So if you want to go to my website, tracymahan.com, the link for that will eventually be down below. Once the live is over, I'll add it. But it's tracymahan.com. Pick what you want and then add in the promo code area. Put the just put June in there. It's a June special, kicking into June from today to the 15th of June, 50% off. And if you pick a Daniel surprise, just remember it's whatever you donate is going to take 50% off of that. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Know Thyself, Jupiter Berry and Sherry Noel. Welcome, welcome. We're getting our little posses in here watching us live. So, Judy, do you have any announcements?
No.
She looked like she was going to say something. Oh, no, I don't.
I am running a class next week, but it's a QHHT class. So that's the only announcement.
QHHT people. Announce it.
Yes. Well, it's the level 1 companion here in Australia. So that's on our June long weekend, which is June 10 to 12. And great course for those that have just recently finished level 1 QHHT.
Or level 2, actually.
Level 2, yes. I know a lot of people are doing level 2 straight after doing level 1, and even before they get out and start practicing. So yes, very important for those people as well.
Yeah,
very, very valuable course. Really hones the skills.
I'm going to tell you, you guys are QHHT. If you've done level 1 and 2, and you really would like to ask questions, or you know, just get to do a little more practicing, the level 1 companion class is absolutely amazing. It makes a huge difference in how you're performing your sessions. So it's a very valuable thing. And you're about to tell them how to get to you and where you're at, right? And I cut you right off. Yeah. Okay.
All right. My website is mylifespurpose.com.au. Very simple, or you can find me on QHHTofficial.com under practitioners, and also the information about the courses on QHHTofficial.com under live courses. So all that information is there. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to say about today and the questions. Our audience, most of the audience know that the questions are submitted. I then print them out and use a pendulum to process the order in which they are to be asked. So it's got nothing to do with me selectively picking out questions. The pendulum picks the questions, and when they're all picked and all in order, I ask again, is everything in its correct order? Yes, it is. So that's the way it works.
This is based on, we put up the post that we were going to do a live, and some of the comments that came back were a little bit this energy right now is it is a little bit edgy. I'm going to say it like that. And there was somebody that said, why do you give Judy all the power? And I just laughed, because I'm like, do you not understand how a pendulum works? So I was sharing it with Judy because I did delete that comment. If you wrote that and you're listening, now you understand. It's just
nothing to do with me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have
sometimes
family members that are making a lot of noise. So I'm making a little note to them that I'm live right now. So if you guys are hearing anything in the background, it's because for some reason it sounds like they're moving all the furniture downstairs. You guys knew I was going live. Yeah, so we're gonna just watch the type for a second. Okay. Plus, if they're making noise like that and I'm trying to channel, the human in me wants to know what's going on, and especially if it's my house and a lot of banging going on, it's like, what's happening? What's happening to my home? So okay. Okay, we got Spiritual Disco, we got Carol Brinkman, we've got I don't know how to say some of these. Devazzer 46, and you're probably laughing at me because I probably really did that wrong. A lot of you guys are coming in. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to go get Daniel. Did we put out all of our, what do they call that, housekeeping? Did we do all of our housekeeping?
Well,
Okay.
One more thing, I'll just say, please excuse my pronunciation if I get people's names wrong as well.
You guys have a little name forgiveness, please. So, love it. All right, so I'm going to go get Daniel. We'll see what he's got to say. There must be something going on. I've been getting this a lot lately, and it keeps showing up in the same area right here in the throat chakra. I'll start talking. It's usually right before I channel. This is coming in, and last time I channeled and that came in, it was the Syrian Council. So I don't know if this is something. Okay, Darlene is. I see I'm not yet. Okay, so Vassar 46, so it's probably Darlene. Okay, so looking at this and looking at you guys, I'm going to go find out who wants to speak through me and is making themselves apparent with a red mark on my throat. So let's go do that. And we're going to get through as many of these questions as we can with the time that we have to do it. So I'll see if I can get these guys to talk fast. How about that? They like to talk a lot. So maybe if they talk faster, it'll get a lot more information. Who knows? And then Judy, I have a feeling they're going to ask you to participate more today. Just don't shoot the messenger.
You know how I love being put on the spot.
All right, let's go get them. All right, let's see. Oh, we love putting you on the spot. And hello, everybody. We are here to join in with you and maybe even move some of this energy that has been a little staticky out of the way. And there's no need for the static, no need for the edginess, as Tracy called it a little bit ago. So we are just going to ask for everyone's beautiful counsels to come in and just start to clear some energy and just move through. Oh, it feels mucky. That's a word that we want to use. Do you like that word, Judy? Mucky.
Absolutely. It is mucky.
It's a mucky energy. So we want to move the muckies, and we just want to get that dissolved. It is, oh, interesting. It looks like it is a residue of, as Tracy had mentioned before, there was some really old energy coming up. Old stuff that's been sitting on the shelf for a while, dusting it off. And so it's creating a little muck and sludge, if you will. So we're going to clear the muck. We're going to clear the sludge. You don't need it anymore. This is just showing you the last little bits of something. And really, you've done the work. You've done the work. So let's just all release it and send love and light to this beautiful energy that is just ready to be healed in your world, healed in this universe, healed on all levels, all time, all space, all dimensions, all realities, all aspects, all ripples, all. Okay. So as we clear this air and we get this beautiful group of people in, we want to say, we can feel some of your smiles from here. We love it. Somebody's got a lemon tree. We're seeing it, and then we're seeing the lemon peels. So if you have a lemon tree that you have access to, or you have lemons sitting in your kitchen, they're showing us to just take a little bit of the peel to where it puts off that lemon scent, and to go through the house with this, but it needs to be real lemon. They're saying that it needs to be real lemon, and just kind of squeeze the peel so it pops out those juices, and it's going to be like saging your home. And so if you want to just clear the energy of your home, just go through with that lemon peel and just make that little popping, pop those little lemon scented beads off, oils off of the peel. Okay, now that we all know to lemonize our homes, what is our first question, Judy?
Our first question is from Krista, who says, how can she be of best service to humanity at this time?
Well, first, what we want to say, all right, we're just getting Krista's energy in here. Krista, you're very connected to some bird tribes, and they're trying to show us to get a new perspective. There's a new perspective being offered to you about how to look at the world. And to be of service to humankind is to love humankind exactly where it's at, and to bring in acceptance and love without judgment. Just meet people where they are. If you can meet them where they're at without being, well, the words that Tracy used earlier is unsolicited advice. Don't give them unsolicited advice. Hear their story and maybe ask them some questions, right? And help them to reframe their stories. And then if they ask you for more, now you have the open door to bring in more information. But they're saying, get a different perspective, bond with those bird tribes that you are connected to if you haven't already, and get a different perspective, get a different view, or just go fly and have some fun, right? You can do that too, because you can see through the bird's eyes. And you can feel the wind and the feathers and just how it feels to be gliding up very high in the air. We're seeing specifically a hawk and some brown feathers, and we can feel the wind in the body. There's softer feathers underneath the outer layer of feathers. And the wind, as it goes through all these layers of feathers, it just feels very beautiful in this moment. So take some time to be with the birds and to be in union with them so that you can have these experiences. And then as far as humanity is concerned, meet them where they're at, listen where you can, offer some questions to reframe where they're at. In other words, if they're woes me, woes me, woes me, woes me, life sucks, kick me while I'm down, then your next question is, well, how would you rather it be? What would you rather have happening? And just let them find it on their own so that they can find their own happy ending to their story, get them to reframe it, get them to think about something different. Okay, next question.
That was beautiful about being the bird.
Yeah.
The next, yeah, I really felt that. The next question is from Marion, who'd like a bit more of an understanding on the concept of the human ego. Is this the nature of the ego determined before coming in, or is it formed from early experience in life?
It is all of it, right? It is all of it. The ego is something that you get to experience in this reality. If you think about worlds without the ego, that is why angels don't understand humankind. That is why your benevolent helpers on the other side, your star seeds, some of them do not understand the decisions that are made, the choices that you do. The ego makes it more interesting, doesn't it? And so it is part of this programming, or this matrix, if you will, so that you have just that one more element to overcome, right? Your ego gets in the way, your pride gets in the way, those things, as we say, but they also assist. They also assist you. It is an interesting thing to experience an ego. The ego helps you to maybe speak up, speak out, be in public stages and talking to people. The ego is helping Tracy to speak to you now. It's helping Judy to be here with you now. So the ego serves a good purpose, but it also can hold you back or make you feel unworthy, or can have some detrimental things as well, or it can be over boastful and try too hard, as one might say. But the ego is part of the journey in this human form. It is part of what we are all here in the human form to experience that as part of our gift of being in the human body and in this experience. What fun would it be to just have amnesia and not remember, but why not throw an ego in there too? And so there are many answers to the ego, and they're all correct. If you believe it, that is your reality, it is your truth. And so as you ask the question, the answer to everything is yes, that's correct, that's correct. And to want to be one thing to be right over another thing, that is the ego, right? And so when you can neutralize these desires to judge or right or wrong, black or white, up or down, good or bad, when you can neutralize all of that, that is when you are finally starting to understand how to balance that ego side of yourself, and to bring forward a more balanced masculine, feminine, a more balanced energy in the body. Your body will probably feel healthier to you, all the things. So there's a lot of answers to that question. And we hope that that answer will help you move forward as you do your own exploration with the ego. Judy, do you have anything to add to that?
I was just going to say, it's a very complex scenario, isn't it? Much more than what we realize.
Yes, there's a lot to it.
Very much so. Okay. Huge area in itself. There was a little bit more on that about the potential of it having an ego being an imprint as well, as we have with experiencing past lives being imprints. Is that a possibility?
Why not? Yes.
Okay.
It's possible, yes.
Wow. Okay.
And if you came from a world where you did not experience ego and you needed to understand it, of course, it could be an imprint for you.
Yeah, right. Wow. Just another dimension to add to all the others.
Why not one more? They're infinite anyway. If you could wrap your mind around the idea of what infinite really is, and then realize that you have infinite possibilities, infinite realities, infinite dimensions. It is a wild concept. We get so attached to this one thing that we're experiencing here, but when we get into spaces like this, when we start having conversations like this, and the mind starts getting out there, and it's like, oh wow, this could go on and on and on and on, and we could just keep going and going. And for those of you who participated in Saturday's surprise, Daniel surprise, you know, we went beyond. Now we're in the void. Okay, now go beyond that. What's beyond that? What's beyond that? And there was always something beyond it. And that can go for when you go inward as well. You go into the heart chakra, you go into the soul chakra, and go deeper and go deeper and keep expanding inward. The quantum fields in any direction that you take it is infinite. And so when you start to understand that infinite ability, that is when you really get into the wild concepts of the manifestations, right? What am I capable of manifesting and creating, or what am I capable of changing in this ripple, in this reality? What timelines? How do I work with timelines and move through timelines. And we look at that, and the answer to that would be to focus, to bring your focus to the attention of the thing that you desire most, and drop away the focus on the other things that are not a part of that reality. And that is how you mold and create it, and then start taking steps towards that as if it were actually in truth your reality. So that was a very long answer, wasn't it? So we'll go ahead and let you ask the next question, as we know we want to get through a lot of these.
Okay, the next one is from Maya, apologies there, who a couple of years ago was guided to go to Hopi in Arizona with a friend. They went to a specific spot where there had been meetings with extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial beings. And whilst there, a big snowy owl circled around them twice. She'd like to know, is there something more she could learn about what happened there, and did she complete the mission or needs to go back?
So much purpose in things. Complete the mission in the form or the idea or the belief of what that mission might have been. Yes, you did. You completed what you went there to do, what you went there to experience. You completed that. The snowy owl shows up quite often, and in fact is well known to be a form that extraterrestrials will take in the human world. They are known as the one being that could be actually an extraterrestrial presenting itself to you. Did you know that, Judy?
I was aware that owls, particularly people driving long roads at night time, and all of a sudden there's an owl there. So yes, very interesting that.
And so yes, there was an extraterrestrial experience there. Yes, you were brought into another dimension and brought back, and everything that you need to remember about that will surface for you at the right time in the right place. Don't get frustrated with it. We just felt that energy come in a little bit, like, I want to remember that. You're remembering quite a bit of it, actually. And what you're going to remember most is colors. There's colors that they were bringing you through, frequencies and dimensions with colors in them. And so when you see certain colors, as you run across them in your day-to-day life, they will activate some of that memory for you, or you'll get a certain feeling with that color. And maybe then you'll understand, oh, this is part of the activation that was taking place when we were in that vortex of energy. And so not to worry, but yes, the owl was there to symbolize to you that, yes, you were actually, in fact, in another dimension on this planet and interacting with extraterrestrials as you would identify them as extraterrestrials. And so if you want validation, that is it. If you want to know if you completed what you were meant to do, yes, you did. If you want to know if you should go back, there is no shoulding on anything, right? You don't have to go back, but you can. And if you went back, you may or may not have another experience, depending on if you feel called. We would ask you to look into your heart. If you feel called to go back there, go back there. If you're going back there trying to recreate something, it doesn't quite work the same way. You can't just go there and hope to recreate something. But if you feel called to go there, follow that energy, and that would create another experience for you. Does that make sense?
Certainly does.
Okay. Any other advice from you, Judy? We are making a very interactive with Judy today. We want to know what she has to say.
I just find the comment very interesting about you can't recreate anything that's already happened. It's, we all have memories of places that we've been and things that we've done and so on, and to go back and try and re-experience it, it just never works that way. It happened in the moment, and that's when it was meant to happen. So,
yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, next one is from Devasa, and who'd like to know how best to open the pineal or third eye, because they feel in limbo in their connectedness with the councils at the moment.
There's a lot of people that could benefit from this as we as we keep working with the third eye with the entire population of humanity, we have many collectives working with the third eye at the moment, because that is, of course, a beautiful way for us to connect and communicate with all of you. So what we want you to do is we want you to quit trying. And that is going to be the biggest ask that we have of you. Quit trying to see things, quit trying to connect with something. It is in the trying that you are telling your subconscious and higher self that you don't know how to do it. And so we just want you to be open, be in the flow. One of the ways that we open the third eye with you is to have you imagine that there is a whiteboard, like in a classroom, right? And the teacher writes answers on the board. We want you to imagine in your mind that you have this whiteboard. And we want each of you to, if you are in a place that is safe for you to do it, just close your eyes and imagine the whiteboard. And now what we want to do is we want you to ask which collective, which one of the starseed collectives is working directly with me right now. And just see them write their collective name into the whiteboard. And Judy, do you see something being written on your whiteboard?
Absolutely, the Andromedans.
Andromedans. And many of you could even get more than one collective writing on the whiteboard. Of course, Tracy gets the Arcturians, but she also gets the Syrians, and she's been getting a lot of the Lyrans coming in lately. And so there's many that could be written on the whiteboard, but at least one will be in there. Now, if you're sitting there going, I'm not seeing it, it's because you're trying. And we want you to think about that. What was the first thing that popped in? And then did you go, oh, I just want it to be that one. Which one is it really? Which one is it really? No, it was really the one that just popped in. And here's the truth of the matter. You're connected to all of them, but which one is working with you in this moment? Which one is the vibrational match for the things that you are learning and growing in right now? Because eventually you will, as you open up, you'll pull more and more of them in, just like with the clairs, your abilities, your psychic abilities, the knowing, the hearing, the seeing, the feeling, all of the different clairs that go through these psychic awakenings, right? And as you learn one, then it may fade out so that you can learn the next one, and then it may fade out so you can learn the next one. And then once you got it all down, now you're hearing all of them, or you're listening, and it's like, oh, I feel this, I know this, I see this, I hearing this, this is all going on all at the same time. And you're starting to really learn how to use your body and your senses to bring in all of these gifts so that you can hear and sense and feel and know and understand the messages from these collectives and from these starseed brothers and sisters of yours. So when you go into the effort of trying, you block that. It is like if you picked up, well, we're going to go to the old telephone, you pick up and you hit the little hanger upper button, right? But if you were to hit your answer button and you were to just keep hitting the button and hitting the button and hitting the button, you're never ever actually able to hear what the person's saying, right? Because you just keep hitting the button. So we want you to answer and then listen. You don't hit the button over and over again going, I'm not hearing anything, I'm not hearing anything. Breathe. Clear. Take that crown chakra energy and move it up into as high as you can go with it. Just move it up and then imagine, and that is the best way we can say for you to do it. Imagine what they might be saying to you until you feel like you've got that connection down even better. Imagine what they might be saying to you. Imagine if I asked an angel a question like this, what might the angel say back to me? And then just either write it down or start communicating it, say it into a recorder, type it out, and start getting that connection. But we're going to tell you, like we say many, many times, one of the hardest people to read is yourself. So find a friend that also likes to play in this and read each other, give each other messages. It's much easier to channel something in for someone else, especially if it's a stranger. So if it's somebody you don't know, if you really want to test yourself and see how accurate you can be, grab somebody you don't know and do a reading for them. There's a lot of different social media outlets for things like this. You can find groups to join where you can do readings with each other. And so maybe finding something like that would be good too, to do some trading. and open those third eyes up. And again, this was a message for everyone. We are working with everyone that is willing and wanting to open that third eye. We are right here ready to cheer you on and help you to do that. Any advice for opening third eye, Judy?
I can't add to that. The only thing that I say, and I say to anybody that I come across, just really trust that first thing that pops in.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Could not
it just literally is there. Just trust it. Don't question.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent advice. I enjoyed that little whiteboard exercise, and the Syrians were there as well, but the Andromedans came in first.
It makes so much sense. Yes, there's so much of that energy right now on the planet too. You know, we go through those waves. The Palladians were very strong. Arcturians and Palladians were very strong for such a long time. And the other collectives, this is for Tracy. We're speaking for Tracy, so don't be wondering how that worked for you. And then the others started coming in, and her knowledge of more and more keeps growing. And that's how it can happen for you too, just letting that evolve and grow and let it take its natural course. It isn't a race. There is no reason to hurry, and there's plenty of time, right? And so just relax and go into the flow of it. You will find your way to it beautifully. Okay, what is our next question?
That was good advice about relaxing, because we want it all now. We want to know now, but
and then you get it all now and you're like, okay, slow it down. That's a lot.
Exactly. All right, moving along to the next one is from Sherry. Did the inner earth beings shift with us, and are they on our timeline?
We love this question, because when Tracy read it, we're like, which dimension of inner earth beings? And so just like there are many dimensions on the outer side of the world and the outer crust of earth, you have your third dimension, and then the fifth dimension, and all these other dimensions that are coexisting within the same planetary system. So is the inner earth. It has many dimensions to it. Yes, it's all shifting with earth as the earth itself is moving into other dimensions. Everything that is part of earth, all the dimensions, all the rings, all the parts, it is all shifting together. And maybe not all at the same exact moment. It's not like when all the clocks are synced and now every clock is right there at the 3 o'clock hour, right? But it is all moving in its own frequency and vibration, leveling up in its own way, and in union with the earth, and the escalating into higher and different frequencies. Yes, the inner earth is also doing that, and it's also working towards that and contributing towards that, and being like a generator of information and energy within the inner earth. And yes, there is the version of earth where there is no inner earth, and yes, there's the version of earth where there's civilizations within the earth, and the Bigfoot and the fairy realms, and some different things are going on in there. And yes, now there's another dimension of inner earth with even more to be looking at, and higher elevations of vibrations and everything. The dragon realm is in the inner earth. There are many things going on. So yes, there are many different dimensions, inner earth, outer earth, and everything is in its evolution, and it is all moving together. So hopefully that answered that question.
There was just another bit to that about the fourth dimension. What exactly, we refer to the third dimension and the fifth dimension. What exactly is the fourth dimension?
That is a good question. The fourth dimension, as we know the fourth dimension to be, there are many different versions of this as well. So again, use your discernment. What feels right for you? What is your truth with the fourth dimension? The fourth dimension, you are shifting out of, third dimension is about that duality. You are shedding some of the duality in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension to us is where you are actually doing this healing, where the things are actually being brought forward and released and moved out. And then you enter into that fifth dimension. but there are many different ways to describe the fourth dimension. It can be described as an in-between state between life and death. It's described in many different ways. And so it's not to take away from any one person's version of what that fourth dimension is, but for Tracy and her truth, and for the channel that we are looking at right now, it feels true to explain it as the dimension of healing between the third and fifth dimension. Do you have anything to add to that, Judy?
I perceive it as the bridge, as you say, between the two. So there's it's, I won't say it's sort of like not a no man's land, but there's very definitely stuff going on, but sometimes we cross it and then come back and so on. So it's an intimate, that bridge between the two.
Yes, and yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of ways to perceive what a bridge is. So that's going to be an individual journey, don't you think? Oh, you were cutting out. We're not able to hear you.
So I'm aware that this connection is a little bit unstable today. So hopefully we will get through this without either one of us dropping out.
Well, we're hearing you loud and clear now. So yes, let's go ahead and move forward to the next question.
Okay, next one's from Dragon Lady, who asks, when we jump timelines, is it possible to be aware that we have?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are things that will change in your timelines, and we've asked the collective before, maybe in other transmissions outside of this platform, but we've talked to people before about pay attention. Subtle things will change. It could be the placement, and one example, Tracy has this client that has been doing some ascension sessions over the course of a long period of time, schedules them out. And the last time that he logged on and he pops up on her screen, she said, "Oh, why did you move your desk?" And he said, "I didn't move my desk." And she goes, "No, your desk used to be at an angle, and everything that we were looking at in your background, it was at a different angle than it is now. Now you're right in front of it and it's straight on." And he's like, "No, I didn't move my desk." So she took note, she's on a different timeline. And maybe both of them were on a different timeline, because it was so clear in her mind where his desk was before in that room that they would have these meetings at. And so look for subtle things like that kind of take you by surprise, because if you're not in the moment recognizing that as, oh, I'm on a different timeline, then you're going to go, that's weird, I must remember it wrong. Okay, anyways, and then you poo-poo it off, and then it's forgotten. It gets blurred in that recreation of the new timeline, which is fine also. You're still on the new timeline, but isn't it fun when you catch it and you give yourself those little clues? And these things are subtle sometimes, right? Like a position of someone else's desk in their room, and it's like, no, that's not right. It used to be at a weird angle. And I remember looking at that thing in your back wall and it was over here, not over there. That type of thing. Many things all around you, buildings, colors, construction that's going on, construction that was there is there now and wasn't there before, buildings that were there now and weren't there before, buildings you thought were there no longer there, all those things. So yes, you're going to be catching it, and especially if you set the intention to catch it, then you're going to be shown it quite often. And as you work with your timelines, as you're doing this and you're being aware of your timelines, again, think about the timeline you want to exist on, and then keep your focus there, because the reason you're jumping timelines is because you're moving, your mood is shifting or your energy is shifting. So you go to the timeline that is the most energetic match to the mood or vibration that you're in. So as you stay more condensed and focused, you start cutting out some of the lower, denser timelines, and you stay in those higher frequencies. The others will drop away. So as you work with timelines, that could be a fun thing to do too, is to see how long you can hold and sustain the frequency of the timeline that you're most excited about. So hopefully, anything else with that, Judy?
Yeah, well, she did cite an example of in sky watching, there was always this group of 3 stars in one particular part of the sky, and now it's only 2.
See, it's already showing up. It's already there. And yes, taking note of that was perfect. Now watch for other things as well. And see, that would be a subtle change, right? Where you could look at that and go, is that maybe just a different collective of stars? Maybe the Earth rotated a little bit. Maybe as the seasons change, the star map is shifting. You could have chalked that up to 100 different things that happened and why that's different now. And instead you went right there to, hey, I bet I'm on a different timeline where there's only 2 stars there. How fun is that to start catching it? It reminds, Tracy's in here going, it reminds me of those little cartoons where they have 2 pictures of the same thing side by side, and you're supposed to look at one, you're supposed to find the differences in those pictures, right? Like they're very subtle, like this one has a sock laying on the floor, this one doesn't. Have you played with those before, Judy, where you look at the 2
Absolutely.
pictures? Yes.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like that. Start paying attention, get yourself trained to notice the subtle differences, because we don't think it's going to be anything ginormous. It's going to be something that's just little that you could easily chalk up as, oh, I must just remember that wrong, or I must have put that at another spot, not this one. Because that happens a lot too. You go to find something that you always have in the same place all the time, and then it's not there. And you're like, what the heck? Why isn't it there? I always put it there. And then somebody else will come in and go, what do you mean? It's over here. This is where you always stick it, you know? And so it could be keys, it could be your sunglasses, it could be your purse or your wallet, it could be many different things. Play with these guys, play with this. It's going to be fascinating.
Also included in that is conversations.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I find that very fascinating.
Memories of a few years back. Remember when we did this? No, don't. You're looking at pictures and you realize you're in them and you don't have any memories of it. Yes, all of that has happened. So those are the fun days, right? You're like, am I going crazy? I don't remember this event. Why am I in the picture? Yes, all those things. All right, what else do we have?
The next one's from Jonathan, who occasionally has vivid dreams of being in other bodies and rapidly healing other people with hands on. A lot of the time it's seeing different versions of family and friends, I say being younger, or different personalities. He asks, Emma, is he traversing parallel realities or versions of them? Or is it just his subconscious acting out and healing those aspects of himself with their reflection?
Isn't that an incredible question? Well, as one might look into the dream analogy aspect of it, all those other participants in a dream, if you have a dream with many different players in it, right? Those are all supposed to be aspects of self. So we're going to say this, Jonathan, how is it when you wake up, does it feel surreal, like it just was so real you could touch it? Or did it feel like a dream where you're able to do these things? And that's going to answer your question, because it can be both. It can be both versions that you were giving us. You could be healing aspects of self through the characters that are playing out in the dream and healing those parts of self. Or if it feels like it's just so tangible and feels so real, you are out of body doing these healings in the astral realms, or even remembering going to the other dimensions or other realities where you are playing a role. Again, you're more than just this physical being that you're playing in this life here. You are a multidimensional being. So you could be, Jonathan, going to other dimensions and remembering yourself in that embodiment with the gifts and abilities that you have there, as a reminder that you can achieve that in this reality as well. And it's bringing back with you, every time you come back from that, it's bringing back with you more and more memories about how you can do that. And that could get a lot of you excited if you have dreams where you can fly or levitate or move objects or do healing work or whatever superpower you might have in your dreams. They are ways for you to remember more about who you are or who you were when you were not in this physical form. And that if they are showing it to you through these dreams, that this is something that could be activated within you, within your lifetime. If you can, again, bring your focus to that timeline where this could be a reality for you. So what's the theme of today's message? Focus, right? And do you have anything to add to that, Judy?
No, but there's a little bit more to the question about crows for Jonathan. Is there an intended message by seeing crows?
We always see the crows as a symbol of magic, and magic would be also associated with that sacred geometry, with being able to open these timelines and these portals to these other dimensions. So we do think that it is a symbol to Jonathan, again, that he has that kind of magic. Tracy always says, have you guys watched Doctor Strange, and how he can do these little symbols and then it opens up these portals into other areas, other timelines, other parts of the world. And these ideas they're not just fabricated out of nowhere. There are worlds and realities where this type of what you would consider magic is part of a way of life, where you, I need to jump over to Japan really quick. I'm just going to open a portal and jump in and grab a few things. I'll be right back, and it doesn't matter where you are on the planet, you can always open up that wormhole to another area, another space, fold time, fold the realities, the dimensions together, and step through it and get to where you want to be. Whether it's a different location, a different time, it's all there. So yes, the crows are reminding him how magical he is.
Wonderful. Okay, next question is from Janice, who saw in a waking vision two huge orbs who called themselves Tuatha and Morag, and they were from a galaxy a long way away, and they appeared to be giving her downloads. What were the downloads about?
That's a good question. What were those downloads about? That's interesting. It feels like it is very personal in the form or in the concept that we're not sure we're going to be able to get you the information about what the downloads were for. It feels like it was very specific for something that you were involved in, probably a council or a committee that you sit with in your astral body, or you are in the avatar body, so in your other body, your starseed body, if you will. It's probably bringing in possibly some DNA upgrades for you and some information as to, okay, we are feeling like it is giving us some information about this, whatever was going on with that orb or those orbs, was to bring in a frequency for you that was going to attract to you something that was necessary to complete a task that you were working on. And you don't have to worry, you don't have to figure it out. We know the human mind wants to know, what is that thing I'm working on? What is that thing that I'm gravitating towards, and why did this come in? Of course, you were allowed to remember it, because remember, if you have been listening to us for a while, we have been saying, as we keep evolving, you're going to get to remember more and more and more. Do you remember us saying that, Judy? That people, we're going to start remembering some of the journeys that you've been on. You're going to get pieces of it. You're going to get to remember some of it, to remind you that you've been out of body, that you've been on a ship, that you've had a journey with this, that you sit on a council. And this was one of the ways that you allowed yourself to remember that there's something more going on than just this existence right here. This is happening for all of you, so start paying attention. These things that you're remembering and then writing it off or poo-pooing it, those are the things that you left behind for yourself as clues to remind yourself. Just like Jonathan's crows and these dreams, he's allowed to remember this. The crows are a clue. The dreams are him being allowed to remember And then he's got to overcome the idea that, was this a dream or was this real? What was it? He is remembering. He's remembering other dimensions. He's remembering healing. Same goes on here. You're remembering the orbs. You're remembering their names. You're remembering because it's time for you to start remembering more and more. So don't be too worried about what the download was. That is secondary, and it's probably already been completed, to tell you the truth. It's probably already done and complete. It's more about you remembering that there was something else outside of this world you're in that was happening for you and with you. And to pay attention, more of that will be occurring. And maybe keep a diary about it, right? So that you're not forgetting all the different times you're remembering things that seemed a little out of this world. Do you have any advice for that, Judy?
No, it's just absolutely with the diary, just write everything down that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
I had something last night and I haven't written it down yet, so I'm hoping to still hold on to it.
Somebody's holding out. You want to share what happened?
Well, it's regarding ancient civilizations as is depicted. I have a fascination with the really, really, really old buildings around the planet. And anyway, some information that came through last night in a dream was that there was a metal associated with these buildings, somehow incorporated into this buildings, which makes them stand up for thousands of years, and hence that's why they're still standing. And as regards to what that metal is, it's somehow incorporated into the stone or the building block that creates its strength, so it will withstand the elements and time. So that was my little piece of information.
Yes, get that diary out, write that stuff down.
Yep.
Very
because it goes just like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question.
Yes.
Is from Anne, who would like to know, is the ringing in her ears tinnitus or is it something else?
We want to go to the right ear. The right ear is ready for an adjustment. It's really weird. It's making our head feel very, very foggy. So it is about connection. It is about receiving the messages. A lot of times it is believed that the ringing in the ear is downloads, but if it is a continual, it's not an off and on, here it is, and then a day or two, and then you might have it again. If this is continual ringing in the ear, we're going to ask your collective and ask your permission. If it is an upgrade, if there's any energy there, anything that needs removed and an upgrade brought in, let's do that. And with your permission, they can do that. It feels, we're looking at the left ear. We're not picking up the left ear at all. So if the ringing is in the left ear, that may be the tinnitus that you're speaking of, but the right ear feels like there's an adjustment to be made, and with your permission, they will make it. And so if it is in the left ear, we're going to ask, can you turn that down? And the left ear is about hearing messages from loved ones in your case. So if there are some loved ones that are crossed over that are no longer in the body, they may be trying to get you a message. And the way that they can do that is, if you're not a medium, if you have a difficult time trusting that you're receiving a message, ask them to send you signs. Ask them to use the angel numbers. They can give you messages through the angel numbers as well. That goes for everybody. If you want a message from a loved one who's crossed over, ask them to send you a number, and then you can go look it up and see what their message is to you. And but there is some work to be done on the right ear for sure. So if that, hopefully that resonates. And do you pick up anything with the ringing in the ears, Judy?
I just find it interesting. It's the right ear that has been cropping up a lot lately. So the message is for everybody.
Yes, it is. It is.
Absolutely.
Definitely. If you're getting any kind of, if it feels like a earmuff is over your ear, or you're getting the ringing, or your attention is being brought to either of the ears, but usually for us it is the right ear, then ask for any upgrades. We call it the supernova antenna. Bring in the supernova antenna so you can get all of the beautiful benevolent beings, known and unknown to you, to come in and chit chat with you. It'll be a wonderful thing. By the way, a lot of people are being activated in their channeling spontaneously, so be aware that that could happen as well. Spontaneous channeling, that's how it happened with Tracy. She didn't take a course on it. She went home and it just started to happen. And yes, you can control it, but it's usually when you're in a relaxed state, you might find yourself talking in your sleep with light language or messages as you're just drifting off to sleep, or as you're just starting to come up from sleep. Those are when it's most common. Or if you're talking with a friend or something and all of a sudden you're giving them advice that you're like, wait a minute, where did that come from? That felt a little weird to me, like it wasn't actually in my body. So just be aware that sometimes for some of you, this could come in spontaneously through conversations or in sleep state.
Be excited, not alarmed.
Absolutely.
It's interesting that you mentioned about the angel numbers. I know there is a question a little bit further down, but we may or may not get to that. But I shall move on in order. And this one is from Amy. Now we've got two Amy's today. So this is Amy Orthamont. Any advice for her today? Anything that you could tell her would be very greatly appreciated.
We're getting a very strong connection to the heart chakra with Amy. There's something about to open in the heart chakra. It almost feels like there's been a trial of things that have been going on, things that have been heavy on the shoulders, things that have been over the course of time. It's something that you feel like, why doesn't this ever work out for me? Why doesn't this ever show up for me? And it's time for this to be healed within the heart chakra. The frequency is ready to be released now, the one that has been keeping you away from that thing of desire. And so it's time. We want you in your mind to just imagine you have this little cloak over your shoulders, and you can just take it off and toss it behind you, and it just turns into many little different fireflies and flies away into repurpose into some better energy. And then feel the lightness come in, and feel the heart chakra opening up to receive something very wonderful, a blessing that you didn't see coming. There is a surprise opportunity or a chance meeting or something of that nature. Something's coming in to shift the situation that you've been calling in, that you have been wanting to have change. So something is coming in to create the change that you've been asking for. So go with the flow of that. Okay, that is our message. Do you have anything to add to that?
Beautiful analogy of the cloak and the fireflies. That was just gorgeous. All flying away.
That's right. And they all light up like, whee, and they're all just flying away, right? Like fireworks in a sense, yes.
Okay, Kathy asks if you can tell her anything about the relationship between her 2-year-old granddaughter and her brother, who is about to come into the world, the physical world, as she believes they are both very special beings.
Well, all the children are very special beings, indeed. As we've been calling them the children of the sun. We look at these two little individuals, these little blessings, right? And it is almost like their little eyes will stare right through your soul, like, don't even try to lie to these little beings. And when the brother arrives, it does change the dynamic and the energy of the home. And there is a special connection. They did choose to come into this life together, and They are here to work together in many different ways, even if it doesn't look like they're working together as they get older. The energy that they bring to the planet is quite extraordinary. They're here to, they're not going to just be opening people up in those psychic abilities, especially their mother and father, the people they spend time with, the grandparents, Kathy, if you will. There's more opening to come, but Kathy is already quite open and aware. And so she'll be a beautiful foundation for the children to feel safe and to learn these star languages, right? And to be able to speak them and to share the energy and the vibration of these languages. They're going to bring messages from the star people. They're going to bring messages. So this is a household that they'll come into that is open to those messages coming through. And Kathy, we want to ask you if you can write the messages down. And if they start coming at a regular influx, then maybe even find a platform to share them, some form of social media or something where you can share the messages from the children. If they start coming through with different messages from nature, they talk to the trees, the rocks, the ground, the birds, the everything. And so maybe there will be something in the future there where there's a platform to share the messages from the children. But they are both coming from the same collective, and they are here to work together. And it's interesting, mother and father both come from different collectives, different star groups, because they wanted to blend the two DNA, if you will, or the energy vibration of the two collectives together. But the children come from the same star connections. So they come from the same, like if you were going to say Palladian, Arcturian, Lyran, whatever you want to say, they're more, we would say, cousins to the Andromedans. Actually, they come from a planetary system that is outside of your multiverse, and they come through that portal of the sun into this world, and this is the perfect platform and vibration for them. That was a lot of really random information. We hope that kind of brings it to an answer to the question. But there's a lot more to all of that. There's just beautiful energy. And Kathy, you're already aware. It's cute that you asked the question, but you're already aware, and you don't need us to tell you, because you already know. And so does your daughter, and so does your son-in-law. And these children will be embraced for who they are. And that's what's going to make this very special. So we want to thank her for that question, though. And it is important for all of us to remember that the generations that are coming in now are the ones that are teaching us how to be in a fifth dimensional frequency. Because by the time they reach their adulthood, this collective should be in its fifth dimensional frequency.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next one's from Julie N, who has 4 cats, which she understands are activators of other people. Now, she's aware that these 4 cats are to go to other households, but she's either had trouble letting them go to other households, or the other households haven't presented themselves. So she wants to know why is it taking so long? What does she need to understand?
Mm-hmm. We thought she was already on her way to her new life. So it sounds like she is still reliving these same cycles. The cats will be fine if you rehome them. There is many times what happens, and we want to say this in the most loving way that we possibly can. If you are not able to release them to their new homes, because it feels like there's an energetic tie, then they'll be moved on with, and how do we want to say that? They'll be moved on without without you moving them on. So what we want to say is do this in the most loving, kind heart. If you find a home for them and you feel like this is going to be a good home, we don't want an abusive home, obviously, but this has been an ongoing thing with you, Julie, with the cats. And what we want to say is the cats will be okay. They're always going to be okay. Whether they transition out or be adopted out or continue on with you, they're going to be okay. They will understand because you talk to them and you let them understand that this is the time for them now to go and bring this activation now to a new family, to bring energy to a new family, to bring healing frequencies to a new family. You have already had your time. This is again where humans forget that they make choices. They're making choices, and we know that your choice is that you want to move. You want to bring yourself into a new place in this world, and you're ready to move forward. But then there's also the fear that underlines that, and it's harder to see the fear, but it's still there, and the fear is still creating. It is like throwing the anchor from the boat into the water and letting it drag bottom, but also running the motor and trying to drive forward. And this is the image that we are getting with you, Julie, is that yes, we know you want to go straight ahead. We know you have a direction you're trying to go, but this anchor is also dragging behind you. So in your mind right now, and this goes for anybody that feels like they're struggling to move forward with something, we want you to imagine pulling the anchor up out of the water. Imagine pulling that up out of the water and inviting the universe to bring you the most perfect solutions to this dilemma and whatever dilemmas are going on in your lives for anyone that this resonates for. But you're making a request to the universe to bring resolution to this in the most joyful way possible and the most perfect homes for these babies, because they are your babies and we are not letting that go unnoticed. We understand that. You have a very deep bond with them, and you have saved many lives over the years because you have loved these babies and you have taken them on. And so that is not going unnoticed. Your kind heart, it's very big, it's very beautiful. And it's your turn now. It's your turn to go do something you want to do and be somewhere you want to be, and to not live your life for everyone and everything else. And everything will be okay as you move forward to do that. It really is a matter of shifting some energy within yourself, because you know in your heart of hearts where you want to be, and just to trust the universe, trust that source energy, that it's also taking care of these babies, these kitty cats of yours, and that they will be in homes that love them very much. And we do want to ask you, Judy, if you can tune into that as well and see if you can pick up anything else that would be beneficial to say at this time.
The words that came to me are, it's very simply, it's your time, Julie. It's your turn.
Yeah. And we do want you to say that again, because it's very hard to hear you. So if you there you go.
Yep, it's your time, Julie. It is your turn.
Yes.
Right.
Let nothing said in that louder volume. Yes. So beautiful. So Julie, we all want to hold you and support you in this, in your journey. We know it is not easy and it can feel intimidating, but we want you to let go of that fear and just take that leap of faith. This is a big decision for you, but it's one that you've been wanting to make for years. So give yourself the opportunity to have that experience and to take that leap of faith, please. Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. So I just want to check in to see how Tracy is handling the energy.
Let's say 2 more questions.
2 more? Okay. All right. The next one comes from Barbara, who asks, what does her higher self or spirit and guides have to say for her today?
First off, there's a whole collective of beautiful souls in heaven that say hello to you. Hello from heaven, they say, and whoever it is that comes to mind, or all those who come to mind, they're gathered around, they're saying hello, and they just want to send you lots and lots of love and appreciation. They're showing us that you have a beautiful and big heart, Barbara, and that you're deserving of great things to come to you. Now let's see if there's some other messages here. There's something in your life that keeps appearing to you. It keeps showing itself to you. So start taking notice of that. It's something that that you might be like, well, that's weird. I keep seeing that. Like if it was a green 4-door Jeep or something, it's like, man, everywhere I go, I see a green 4-door Jeep, right? It's something that's going to stand out. And now everybody's going to see the green 4-door Jeep, just saying. But what we want to say is there's something that has been happening already that just keeps happening. And it's like a number or a thing that just keeps showing up to the point where it's impossible not to notice that you keep seeing the same thing over and over again. It's time to take notice of it. There is a collective that is trying to get your attention. There's something that is shifting in your life that is taking you in a new direction, if you will. Things cannot keep going the way they've been going. And that's for everyone that's listening. There is something that if it's repetitive in your life, there's certain things. If there is one thing that is consistent, it is change, right? Everybody's heard that. The only thing that you can rely on here is that it will eventually change. Something's going to change. So you're going through a change. You are going through something. And you keep seeing a pattern that keeps appearing. It keeps showing itself to you. If it's an opportunity, take it. There's something there. There's something there to be noticed. And we think that it's something that, that maybe you're not fully listening or thinking, no, that can't be for me, or that would never work out, or whatever. But if it's an opportunity, we want you to at least consider it, because there's something being presented to you. And it might be something that's way off course from what you normally do, or just different in general from a trip you might take, or a place you might live, or whatever it might be. But just consider it, please, and explore the idea, because there's something showing up for you that's going to change things. It's going to stir it up, if you will, but in a good way. And it's taking some old energy that's been kind of stale for a little bit, and it's mixing it up and creating something new for you. So we want you to take notice, because it's happening for you, and it's time to explore that opportunity that's showing itself. Do you get anything to share, Judy?
I just have the courage to step forward.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay, last question is from Helene, who lives and works with teens. She says they're so different from her generation, who are thick-skinned. How can she guide the next generation in the best possible way?
This is going to kind of piggyback on what we said already about the new children coming in. And we don't want the children to be thick-skinned. And they're teaching us how to be more sensitive. And that our words can hurt, and that our words are important. Our actions can hurt, and the actions are important. To be more loving, to be more kind, to be more sensitive and considerate. And so, to some degree, it may feel like it is extreme, like this is an extremely emotional or extremely sensitive child. But remember, we are also extremely disassociated and extremely disconnected from our emotions, from as a collective, not as individuals necessarily. Some are, some are not, but as a collective humanity, we have been desensitized. Television, news, day-to-day socializing, schools, all the different things. And it's desensitized us to many things. And so the sensitive ones are coming in to teach us how to be more considerate again. And it's a tough nut, isn't it? It's a hard one to wrap our minds around when we've had to build up the tough skin. And at times it could just be like, suck it up, man. It's not that bad, but at the same time, deep breath, they're here to teach us. And it's not always going to be that extreme, but it has to be that extreme right now in order to move us into a more conscious way of being. Humanity as a whole needs to be more aware, needs to it is helping everyone to be more sensitive also in their intuition and their empathy and the way that they intuit things, psychically receive things, all the things. So these children are very necessary. And thank you. Thank you. It is not easy. We know it is not easy to raise these children. We know it is not easy to be a caretaker when everything is so sensitive. The skin is sensitive, touch is sensitive, their emotions are sensitive, their reactions are extreme. We understand. And we know that you are a very, very strong soul to have come in and to have brought in or to have been in a position to volunteer to care for these children. And for anyone else listening that feels like they're up against that same type of situation, we thank you because you are bringing in a very beautiful lesson for humanity to be more aware, to be more sensitive, and to neutralize a lot of the judgment as well. We have a lot of things going on for humanity. Again, everybody, when's the big 5D happening? When's the big 5D happening? Well, part of fifth dimension is a non-binary energy. And there's a lot of beautiful souls that are coming in to teach us how to not always identify with that masculine or feminine, but to be in balance with the masculine feminine. And so even though your world may not look like that in a fifth dimension, it is an abstract way to get everyone into a more balanced divine feminine, more balanced divine masculine. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's not always what we think it is. And to just be the best version of yourself through that you can be, and that is all we can ask. And with that, Judy, if you have anything to add to that.
I just really picked up on that last comment about the non-binary, because I was having a conversation with my 11-year-old granddaughter about this just a couple of days ago. So it was, that was interesting. That gave me a slightly different perspective. So I thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yes, it's a very difficult thing when you identify so strongly with masculine or feminine energy, regardless of what body parts you have. But then when you come in as this non-binary energy that is like, well, I just love people and I just love this part and this part. And it's just, it just brings a whole new level of how to love. And so it is not to be dismissed or to be ignored. It is to be embraced. It is to be, it is to just let it be what it needs to be for you as you work through your, what it brings up for you. What is it showing you, or how do you feel around it? Is there any discomfort? Is there any connection to it? Whatever it might be. So just let it be what it is for you. There is no judgment in it whatsoever. And it is just part of this transition into a more sensitive world that is not attached to a more masculine or more feminine energy, but yet that neutral combination of divine energy. All right. Have we talked enough?
Excellent. I think so.
Wonderful.
So wonderful advice as always. Thank you, Daniel. Just amazing information that comes through.
We want to
relevant to everyone
as well. The most amazing information came from you as well, and we thank you for participating with us on such short notice that we were going to call on you more today, and for being in that role to communicate with us what your feelings and thoughts were as well. So thank you so very much, and thank you to the collective that is here and gathered and watching. And may you have beautiful, blessed days, and may all of your questions, those that were asked and those that we did not get to, may they all be answered for you in whatever form that comes in for you today. Thank you so very much. We'll bring you back, Tracy, now. Okay. Ah. All right. Okay. I have little animals that were running around in here also that were like, it was funny. I'm talking, but I'm also very aware of things going on. Like my door's opening, things are going on over here. It's cool. So, all right. So good things going on in the world. It sounds like a lot of shifting and just a deeper level of awakening. We're all just getting in it a little deeper. All right.
No wonder we're all exhausted. So with
this is
so
why
much
we're
happening,
tired, you guys. So true. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully everybody was able to get something from this. And let's see. Tony is in here. I'm remembering so much, and the birds are telling me so many things. I went and got some feed for them to help with the babies. Oh, that's sweet. Okay, so I think that's our Tony that has the owls, I'm gonna guess. Which again, the owls. Yeah, makes sense, Tony.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And for those of you that come on the little Daniel journeys with us when we do those, you know who Tony is. He's always there and bringing in the owl energy for us, and it's amazing. So, all right, Judy, anything else you can think of?
No, my head is always so full after these Q&As because of the level of information that comes through. It touches all different parts within me and within everybody else, and gets you going down different thoughts and observations. So
Yeah.
Always packed full of stuff to work with. Love it.
Yeah, and my head's going to be like in a little fog for a while, because that one really took me out in a few of those. I do have to say that some of my favorite, here, we're going to get a little Lyran guest here. He's so funny. He just stands there waiting. You want to say hi? Yeah. Want to say hello? Yeah. So this is Tiger, for those of you who don't know Tiger. And now he's stepping on poor little Latte, who is behind me. Like, nope, that didn't work for me to sit on your shoulder. Where was I going? Oh, the questions. It was really interesting. The simple ones that just said, what do I need to know? Those were interesting. It was kind of fun to just tap into what was going on with them, and to just get those like physical sensations around the heart chakra, around something shifting. I know they weren't detailed, but they won't give me detailed things, because then you're looking for that stuff. So it's going to be kind of more like a subtle, something's going to come, but you won't know when or where. Just know something's shifting, which can be exactly what we need to hear if we're feeling stuck in something, to know that something's going to change. And, you know, it's not too detailed that you're like, okay, that didn't happen. I didn't meet that guy in the grocery store in the produce section, and I've been hanging out there for like 2 months straight now. You know, they gave me an employee shirt because I won't leave. No. But I noticed that they won't give me details like that, just because, you know, we get kind of attached to those answers, and then we might miss what's actually showing up, because it may show up a little different than what it was coming through. So, you know, one of the big things that Daniel always reminds me to share with everyone is use your discernment. So whatever we're saying here, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. We all are different. We all have different realities that we're creating. And so what resonates and comes through me may not always resonate with all of you guys, but yet you're all still here. So thank you. And, you know, but it's okay if not everything is 100% spot on and resonates. So it's all right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
It hits home where it's meant to.
yeah. Even though everything Judy says always resonates with me. Hey, look at that. That's almost like a perfect little round dot behind me. Can I
Yes,
make it a
it is,
third eye?
isn't it?
No, it doesn't come through as a third eye. How come I'm not seeing it right here? That's interesting. It's coming in from there. See, now it's on my hand.
Now it's on your hand.
I wanted it right here. All right. That means I need to get off of here and probably hydrate. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, Judy. How do people reach you if they would like to sign up for some sort of journey with Judy? Ooh, that'd be cool.
mylifespurpose.com.au. You'll find everything there that I offer. So if you're interested, check it out.
And when
And
we
how
get
they
done
find
with this,
Tracy?
for me, it's tracymayhan.com. You'll find all my stuff there. And I'm putting, when this gets all said and done, I will put our links down below. So it will be there as well if you're watching this later. So, all right, everybody, it's been so wonderful. And thank you, Judy.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
again, the
Tracy.
only way I know to end this is to shut it down. So, bye to everybody.